Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak. Today, a group of 26 inexperienced climbers begin their journey to the top for charity. 7 days and 70 kilometers of battling difficult terrain, weather, fatigue, injury, and altitude sickness. Soon, they will find out that climbing to the top of Africa is more difficult than anyone anticipated. And climbing such a mountain comes at a price.
Who knows how my body's going to react to the extreme altitudes.
That's the gravy piece of the puzzle, right? And we're going to go give it our best shot.
It's scary to think of going up that thing in the dark.
The nighttime is going to be a little bit trickier, and I've never hiked at night.
I mean, I'm excited, nervous. I feel like I maybe didn't prepare enough because it's not easy up here, not easy at all.
The amount of energy they're going to have to put into this effort is going to be monumental. This will be the hardest thing that they've ever done.
Kilimanjaro. It's the highest mountain in Africa and the highest freestanding mountain in the world. At 5,895 meters, it commands respect. And for those people who climb it, it may well be the most dangerous, most difficult thing they do in their life.
It has always been on my bucket list to climb Kilimanjaro. I just didn't think it was on the horizon or at all, actually.
It's just to try to prove to myself that something like this, I'm able to do it. That's why I'm here. It's just a huge challenge and a great opportunity.
I think just the challenge for myself and seeing myself work through that, yeah, that's going to mean a lot.
I climbed Kilimanjaro 15 years earlier. Took a bit of decision-making because I'm not as young as I was 15 years ago.
Last spring, a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, passed away. She was diagnosed one day, and 2 months later, she passed away. And I thought, you know what? If not now, then when?
5 years ago, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I went from a couch potato who had never exercised in his life to going to the gym 4 days a week and losing 30 pounds.
Well, I've been hiking all my life, and I thought this was a great opportunity and see if I can make it to the top of Africa.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tanzania. In 2001, I really started managing a climbing operation and built up a systems-based approach to the whole company. So everything's very, very systematic. Really, we've been running the same system since 2001. I started climbing Kilimanjaro in '97. That was my first time up, and I went up way too fast and got really sick. It's all about keeping you in a very safe place. We'll go into the whole safety side of things. It's pretty simple, but very fundamentally sound. We're going to be going on a Lemosho 8-day trip where we get onto the mountain, get up a little bit, and then we spend a lot of time coming around the mountain, acclimatizing, before we do this big hit to the top and then get down. It is a steep up, it is a big up. We go bang into the high altitude. Now, once you're in high altitude, you may feel some things.
It's exciting for me to be part of this because there's a huge serendipity that is involved. I was in the Rocky View Hospital last year, and for 6 weeks I had flesh-eating disease and I had pneumonia as well as renal failure and heart failure. One of the things that people are nervous about on the climb is the altitude and not being able to breathe. And my respiratory therapist is on this climb with me. I discovered that last night, that she was in the ICU when I was there. So we were talking about what it's like not to be able to breathe. So it's a really emotional thing. And it's been a real journey to go from not being able to walk to be here. I'm sorry, I'm crying, but it's just...
don't be too worried. Everybody's gonna have a bad day. When it's your turn, roll with it. Keep us informed, of course. There are certain protocols.
I've spent many a nights worrying about the altitude, reading all about it, reading about altitude sickness. Yeah, the idea of not being able to breathe well, that scares me.
Empathize with those that are having the bad day. We just got to get them through that day. And then, slowly but surely, our bodies are going to change. We're going to acclimatize. It's a process.
Acute mountain sickness worries me. High altitude cerebral edema worries me. High altitude pulmonary edema worries me. I've never been to 20,000 feet.
It's exhausting. There's very little oxygen up there. There's half the amount of air on the summit compared to sea level. And that is a big deal. It's a big mountain. It's almost 20,000 feet. And that in itself makes it potentially very dangerous.
Getting up and down mountains, there's just a couple of things we really need to reinforce. We're a big group, okay? It's a huge team. So really, everybody, once you get on the mountain, you just need to get with that program, okay? So really look out for each other, and that's gonna help. When we have problems, let's solve them together, and then, nothing's unsurmountable when you do it together.
For these 26 everyday people, the reality of what they are about to attempt is now setting in. Anxiety is building, and for some, this is more than they bargained for.
Didn't prepare enough. I didn't realize the magnitude of such an adventure like this.
26 regular people are about to take on the largest freestanding mountain in the world, Kilimanjaro. Most of these people have never attempted a climb this serious, and the odds are very much stacked against them.
Spent many a nights worrying about the altitude. Yeah, the idea of not being able to breathe well, that scares me.
The origin of the name Kilimanjaro is not precisely known. Some think it came from local dialects meaning shining mountain or even great mountain. Others suggest that which defeats or which is impossible. We're finally here. It's happening. After over a year of preparations, we're finally on the mountain and it's becoming very real.
Welcome to Kilimanjaro!
Here we go, we're off. We're off on our big adventure. Wish us luck.
We're going to start up the Lemosho Trail to the forest camp. They also call it Miti Mkubwa, sub 10,000 feet, sub 3,000 meters. We're not really in terribly high altitude. That's great. Gives us a bit of leeway, really. So the first night, we don't expect any altitude problems. The hike time is only 4 hours. We're going to take it easy. We're going to be walking very slowly. Pole pole. Pole pole. It's a mentality here, it's the way to be. You should be able to breathe in and out of your nose as you're hiking along. That's really slow. That rule is pretty much the whole way up and down.
Two just jumped from there.
Beautiful day. We saw several groups of colobus monkeys, including one group that was very close. And as we were watching that group, we could hear the sound of the singing at our camp.
The staff met us with singing and dancing, and everybody's heart just soared.
don't think that anybody really knew what to expect with our first camp, but I think they were all blown away. It was fantastic. This is an amazing company that we're working with here. They're obviously at the top of their game, and I think we're in for an excellent trip.
There are 7 official trekking routes by which to ascend and descend Mount Kilimanjaro. Shira, Lemosho, Machemi, Umbui, Mweka, Marangu, and Rongai.
Kilimanjaro.
Karibu nawe Rob. Hatuna matata. Karibu nawe Peter.
Acclimatization is essential, and even the most experienced trekkers suffer some degree of altitude sickness. Kilimanjaro summit is well above the altitude at which high-altitude pulmonary edema or high-altitude cerebral edema can occur. Altitude sickness can affect your lungs and brain. Symptoms include confusion, headache, nausea, loss of appetite, and in severe cases, death. Every year, about 1,000 people are evacuated from the mountain, and approximately 10 deaths are reported. And with a summit success rate of only 42%, chances are someone in the group will not finish the journey. The second day was ridiculously difficult. A huge elevation gain, and then by noon, the sky opened up. It was a torrential rainstorm. The trail that we were walking on turned into a torrent of water, complete with waterfalls emptying out onto the trail. By the time we crested the hill and we saw our camp in the heath zone, about half an hour walk away, people were pretty relieved. A lot of people got wet and pretty chilly.
Very, very tough day, and then at the end I just crashed, fell asleep at the table. So you realize, even if you think you're invincible, that you're not, and the mountain is serious business.
This is the Shira Plateau, and behind me are the edges of what used to be a caldera. So this is a volcano. In fact, Kilimanjaro is made up of 3 volcanoes: the Shira Plateau, Kibu, and Mwenzi. Kibu has the tallest peak, Uhuru, but right now we're camped in the Shira Plateau, and the plateau itself is actually the oldest volcano in the Kilimanjaro Massif. After being tantalizingly slow to reveal itself, we got the first good looks at Kilimanjaro. It finally revealed itself fully under moonlight.
When the sky cleared, we looked up at the mountain and we said, "Oh my God, that thing is so huge. How are we going to get up there?" And Gio had a panic attack, thinking, "This thing is too big. What are we taking on?" But I think we all had a lot of little emotions around that too.
The adventure up Kilimanjaro is well underway. On the Lemosho Trail, spirits were high after an easy hike to Camp 1. But after a severe hailstorm and an intense vertical climb, Day 2 tested the group and has left them exhausted and anxious.
Toughest day we had, having to deal with the weather. I was soaked. I think we all have a down day on the mountain. That was my down day.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
The team is starting to feel the effects of such a monumental climb. Torrential rainstorms, altitude sickness, and fatigue. Kilimanjaro is showing its might. And the team's mood has quickly shifted from excitement to dread. Many question if they can make it.
Oh my God, that thing is so huge, how are we gonna get up there? This thing is too big, what are we taking on?
The mountain is so beautiful and it's so huge. It seems so far away, and it's a long way up.
This morning, it appears 2 other people are a little bit ill, being affected by the elevation. We're at about 3,500 meters here. Jason actually ended up fainting. It seems that he's being severely affected by the elevation.
I was up front running around camp at 100 miles an hour and doing everything else. We were walking and talking, and next thing I knew, I was looking up at them. Now it's like everything I do is like really slow.
Casey had a hard day yesterday on the trail.
After we started walking, it just hit me.
All of a sudden, everybody's passing by, and you start thinking to yourself, "What's the issue with him?" And somebody said to him, "Do you get tired of us asking that?" And he said, "No." He said, "Just shows the camaraderie we've all created amongst us. We all want to get to the top together."
I guess it's just the body getting used to this high elevation.
Ended up a little bit grumpy at the porters, because the porters took his bag and then wouldn't give it back to him.
We're now at Camp 3, which is about 3,900 meters above sea level. Not that far above where we were this morning, which is good because everybody's feeling the elevation one way or the other. And now we're going to go somewhere up there towards the mountain. The motto being climb high, sleep low, which is the best way to continue the acclimatization process. In our society, everything is done immediately. We expect results. In this environment, it's different. A mountaineer has to be patient, especially climbing a mountain that big. That is an environment that we really don't belong in. In order to get up there, we have to adapt, and that adaptation takes patience, it takes time. This sounds Buddhist, but it takes becoming one with the mountain. You have to learn how to slow down, and you have to learn that the tortoise really makes it to the top, not the hare. Nothing can be done quickly at elevation. And you have to be careful, because if you do things too quickly, you can get into trouble, and sometimes serious trouble. This mountain is big, and I think people are figuring that out now. We're at 4,200 meters and we're heading up. Clouds have just come in, nice and cool, perfect for hiking.
There's 26 people on the trek together, all doing the same thing for the same cause, that have all grown so close in such a short amount of time. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Feeling a little bit better, which is great, but it's gonna be a long day, so just taking it one step at a time. We're at 4,300 meters. Now we're getting really high, and slowly but surely we're making our way up there. It's been quite a slow morning, and the group's split up a little bit, so we're trying to get everybody back together, get everybody on the same page, and then we'll get up for lunch at Lava Tower.
15,230 feet. Highest I've ever been. That's called the Lava Tower, and it's solidified magma. In other words, it was a bit of magma that came up from the main magma chute that built this mountain behind us, and it solidified before it erupted. It created this very distinguished looking peak.
This is only honestly my second hike. Shouldn't tell anybody that, but I didn't know how to use my pack properly. And I was carrying all my weight for the last 4 days on my shoulders. So now that's all in the hips, it felt 110%. Good things to come.
Some people have had the runs, headaches, sleeping issues. We got a couple of sore knees and whatnot, but I mean, everybody's been persevering and battling through them, and there's not a whole lot of complaining, which is it's just amazing given the fact that we have climbed a long way up here and we still have such a long way to go. Hoofed her down 2,250 feet. We came down a long way through what was an absolutely amazing valley, which is actually a faulted valley.
And as we descended, the landscape changed and became rich and beautiful with some of the most unique high elevation vegetation one could ever hope for. It was a surreal landscape. It was absolute eye candy. Now we're at Barranco camp, located just below 4,000 meters. The sky is starting to clear. We're getting glimpses of the summit of Kilimanjaro now and again. I can guarantee you everybody's going to sleep well tonight.
Altitude sickness, fatigue, hypothermia, and the weather are all becoming a real factor. Sleep for some is simply impossible. But unknown to the climbers, tomorrow, the mountain will deal its first real test, the 250-meter vertical Barranco Wall.
A very, very tough day. Even if you think you're invincible, you're not. The mountain is serious business.
On Mount Kilimanjaro, a group of 26 people climb the mountain for charity. In the past 5 days, they have battled personal injuries, fatigue, weather, illness, as well as altitude sickness. But few challenges are as dangerous as what's to come. The Barranco Wall. 250 meters of near vertical climbing on slippery volcanic rock.
I hope I'm ready. Physically, just being able to get up there. That's going to be a huge hurdle. I hope I can make it.
We just left Camp 4 up the Barranco Wall, which is a huge lava wall that cascaded off several 100,000 years ago. And we left earlier in the morning to avoid the hassle of the porters passing us because the trail that we were on was absolutely spectacular. This is the kind of stuff that makes my blood pump. I love high altitude climbing. The trail wound its way up over all kinds of cliffs. Everybody got right into it. We had to do some pretty significant climbing. There was one finger traverse that we had to do. The Barranco Wall, 257 meters straight up. And to many people, this will be the biggest challenge yet. A vertical wall that offers some amazing views and some very real exposure. People did very, very well. Everybody was up for the challenge, it seems. There was a few that had some difficulties. After some encouragement and careful instruction by our guides, everyone did very well. People were really challenged, and I think that many of them surprised themselves by taking it one step at a time. That's the trick with any big problem. Pole pole, one step at a time.
I can't believe we did this. This wasn't in the brochure.
I have forgotten just how profoundly beautiful this mountain is. The joy of taking so many days to get to the summit adds to that beauty. To be immersed in this barren, wild, and alien landscape heightens one's senses. You feel alive. to be with people that are here for a greater reason, it's given me a real boost of inspiration. They're here because they're doing it for the Calgary Health Trust. And I have to say, what a fantastic thing to do. This is no small feat for anybody, let alone 26 individuals who really didn't know each other before they came. We had a very special evening. We all prepared basically for the ascent. So we dressed up in exactly what we're going to dress up to go up that mountain. And we had a bit of a discussion beforehand.
And then your backpack's gone and you've left it. That sort of thing, you just flip open the lid and take a drink.
If you allow your brain to sort of just be at one with the mountain, think about the wind, think about the cold, enjoy the cold, enjoy the wind, be at one with the mountain, erase negative thoughts. This is an exercise in thinking through the pain, the cold, the fatigue. And you can do it. I know you can do it. I know everybody in this room can do it.
The last couple days have been good, but I think today it got pretty real for me. Some people had to go down from another group, and I think that kind of pushed a little bit of reality onto me that this is a serious thing with a lot of altitude and a lot of things that could potentially happen. I'm just trying to reflect on that and stay positive.
Intensity and adrenaline saw the day through. All 26 climbers successfully mounted the Barranco wall and gained yet another stage in the pursuit of the summit. Now at Barafu Camp at 4,673 meters, can they continue with their momentum? With other teams succumbing to altitude sickness, everyone is on edge.
You need to be strong. Life throws you all kinds of difficult things, and some you bring on to yourself, like climbing Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro. A group of 26 people climb the mountain for charity. With day 6 behind them and emotions running high, everyone is excited. But some of the climbers are starting to falter. Injury, illness, and fatigue are wearing everyone down. And tonight, they will push on for the summit.
This is rough. I'll be honest, there was times there that I didn't think I'd be standing here right now. If you're gonna have a bad day, it's good that they're behind me.
I'm excited. It's kind of a mix of exhilaration, like this is real, this is happening, a little bit of maybe nerves.
We kind of made it, right? That's the gravy piece of the puzzle, right? And we're gonna go give it our best shot and see where we can get. And it's pretty phenomenal.
You know what? Tomorrow hopefully is a great day, and whatever we achieve, we've achieved so much so far that you're grateful for everything that's happened. It's been an awesome experience.
It's been quite an experience for me. I've never climbed this much ever, never done anything this high. I've never been in this altitude. I have people at home that have encouraged me to do this, and I'm going to do it for them.
It's scary to think of going up that thing in the dark, but one foot in front of the other, and we'll be at the top soon.
Definitely been a challenge. There have been moments where I had to stop and take a break and have a moment with the mountain, but we both came through.
This is probably one of the tougher adventures I've been on. It's a tough one, both emotionally and physically.
Looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I'm excited, nervous, not scared. I just want to make it. I just don't want to get altitude sickness, pulmonary or cerebral edema that would prevent me from reaching the top.
About 4 days ago when we saw it, it looked completely frightening, I'm not gonna lie. It looked like a monster, and it's amazing that we've made it here.
Maybe a few days where you just have an upset stomach, and whether that's the nerves or the altitude, I'm not too sure, but I'm not as much nervous anymore. It's more excitement. I'm looking forward to tonight. It's going to be probably the coolest experience of my life up to this point.
It's a big team. 26 people getting to this camp, to Barranco camp. You know, we don't expect that everyone's going to make it, and yet here we are. Most people who come and climb a mountain are, they're of a certain mindset. They're here to get to the top, whereas this trip is about, something much bigger. And that's where I think the camaraderie, the spirit, the whole direction of this climb is significantly different.
For the people that are going up there, they really don't have any idea what's coming tonight. They don't have any idea. It's going to be probably the hardest thing they'll ever do. It will force them to enter that headspace that I'm talking about, that walking meditation. I don't think I've seen a lot of people getting into that space so far, but they will when we start climbing tonight, because they're going to have to. They're going to have to put all of their energy into dealing with the fatigue, with the lack of oxygen, with the cold. There's all kinds of factors that you have to think your way through. And I think at the end of that, they'll come out very different people.
Amazed that everyone's spirits are so high, and we're all here, and hope everyone can pull together and support each other and get us all up the mountain.
With day 6 behind them and emotions running high, everyone is excited. But some of the climbers are starting to falter. Injury, illness, and fatigue are wearing everyone down. And tonight, they will push on for the summit.
The amount of energy they're going to have to put into this effort is going to be monumental. This will be the hardest thing that they've ever done. And all I can say, all I hope for, is that we all get back down here safely, under our own steam.
It's now day 7, and all 26 climbers have made it to the final leg of the journey. They are extremely exhausted, but they've made it. But now, what lies ahead might be too much for some. Everyone is exhausted. Everyone is on edge. Because tonight, they will push for the summit in the dark.
That's the gravy piece of the puzzle, right? And we're gonna go give it our best shot.
Who knows how my body's gonna react to the extreme altitude.
It's scary to think of going up that thing in the dark.
Yeah, the nighttime is going to be a little bit trickier, and I've never hiked at night.
I just want to make it.
The amount of energy they're going to have to put into this effort is going to be monumental. This will be the hardest thing that they've ever done. We're heading up the iconic symbol of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, and we're starting tonight at midnight. It's going to take us 6 hours at least to get to the rim, and another hour to actually get to the real summit of Kilimanjaro.
A little bit of lightheadedness. It's good walking without the lights. Enjoying the moonlight.
It's like sleepwalking. Oh, the moonlight's awesome. Actually, it's a lot calmer.
I have one son, and I want him to feel like he can do anything, and I want him to be proud of his mother and understand that you can overcome any kind of adversity if you have a strong spirit.
everything up to now has been practice, and I'm going to use that, and it's just going to go the way it's going to go.
Need to burp. I feel okay doing that. But it's just slow going.
It's certainly a practice to live in the moment, and this has been just a godsend for me because every step I take, I'm breathing, I'm taking that step, I'm leaving my heel behind, I'm taking the view in.
I feel like I've maybe didn't prepare enough. I didn't realize the magnitude of such an adventure like this, because it's not easy up here, not easy at all.
After the moon set, the stars kept us company as we walked through the darkest hours of the night. With an estimated temperature of -20 and a wind chill of -30.
A little bit cold, but just got to keep moving forward. Now we're back with the group. It's going to be easier than being way behind. You know, I used to work for a company and we had a slogan, the buck stops here. So when I get to the top, I got a money clip that has $1, a loonie welded to it. The buck stops there and it's staying up there.
I think the biggest challenge we've had here is weather. You know, on day 2 we had tough weather, and then waking up to sleet and hail today was tough.
When the first rays of light appeared on the horizon, the fatigue dissipated. Physical and emotional warmth was restored.
It's like this opportunity's been pretty phenomenal. And just the peace and calm, right? It's like there's a lot a guy's just gonna leave behind here.
It's going to be tough to explain this to other people. I've been thinking about how I'm going to explain this to someone when I get back, and I'm sure they're going to say, "How's the climb?" I'm going to say, "Yeah, it was great." Because I think unless someone's done it, it's going to be tough to relay. It's going to be tough to relay that story to other people.
We have reached Stella Point at 5,756 meters. Emotions are high. We have made it through the night. And although not everyone is yet accounted for, the most difficult part of the climb is behind us. All that remains is a 1-hour hike to the summit.
That was awesome. Tired? I've warmed up since the sun came out though. But I'm here.
Oh, it's fantastic. We are almost there. Just a cakewalk from here.
Amazing. Brings tears to my eyes. I'm gonna get all choked up talking to you, but I'm super excited to go.
Awesome.
No, we're not done. We still gotta get up.
I don't know if I fell asleep or just not enough oxygen or whatever, but I started to fall back a couple times. Good thing Kai was behind me. He propped me up. I don't know if he knew that I was falling over, but yeah, after that sun came up, I felt great.
Celebrated. That was very difficult. Won't really know what I've achieved until I'm there. And then I'll know the real reason I did this. Happy to be here.
This has been a dream of mine for a long time, and what I want my grandchildren to do is follow their dreams, you know, just make it come true. And you know what? You're never too old either to do it. You can put it off for a while, but if you believe in yourself and if it's really important to you, just do it.
made it. Oh my God, what a ride. We have gone through forests and rainstorms and just everything.
I'm telling you, it is so emotional. Do that last climb was just so tough, and to get everybody to the summit was unbelievable. I can't believe we all made it.
First it was the headache, the nausea. I drank 2 liters of Gatorade and then vomited, I forget now if it was 3 or 4 times on the path. And thank goodness for Oka and all the guides to push me along and encourage me and take my pack and singing to me. It was very heartwarming.
The buck stops here, I'm leaving it on the top. Going over here. Buck stops with you. It's a project that I've embarked on, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to leave the buck up there.
I feel elated. I don't know how to describe it.
It's great to be here.
I've lost both of my parents in recent years. I feel their spirit and their love and support. I feel at the summit that they'll be with me.
It's been awesome. It's just been amazing. You can achieve anything you want to achieve in life.
I can't believe we made it. All 26 made it here, the top of Kilimanjaro under sunny skies, especially with the start in the sleet and snow. It cleared off. The stars were beautiful. The moon was fantastic. Now we're here, but I gotta tell you, I gotta get the hell out of here. I'm getting a splitting headache. It's time to go. Worked very hard to make it possible for us to get to the top of that beautiful mountain. And from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
I feel very fantastic, very good. Also, my fellow porters are also happy. We stay in a camp as a family, so we do like to say thank you very much for coming.
It was a great team. It was having a group of 26 people make it to the summit together. You know, it's wonderful.
We pushed you and kind of tried to lie to you, telling you it's easy so that you can make it up to the top. Lucky enough, we all got to the top, which is just like our goal. So we're so proud of you guys.
It was just 7 days, but to me, this group looked like my family. Get used to each other. There is no secret. Everything is open.
We are summity, so Simba full happy. And then I'm saying for everybody, or for any people, for summity in Kilimanjaro. Thank you very much.
It's always hard to say bye because just like we wanted to stay with you guys all the time. So we need you back.
Chapa malapa, chapa malapa, okay?
You know?
Bye.